Hi, this is Kenneth, and welcome to Common. Hi, this is Kenneth, and welcome to Common Hawthorne, or welcome back. I have a couple of VRs that I'm working on, but I still have a couple of cards that I need to figure out. But in the meantime, there's something that I thought about doing when I first started doing videos, and that is to talk some about some of the taglines that I have both here and on Instagram. There's one that seems particularly timely to talk about, and that is that I'm a survivor of the plague years, meaning that I came out as a gay man in 1978, and shortly thereafter, what we now know is HIV, which causes AIDS, was a mysterious cause of some gay related immune deficiency disease. And people didn't know how you got it. People didn't know how it was transmitted. They knew it had to do with sex. But there were also things like being afraid of whether touching someone could give you AIDS. The enduring popularity of Princess Diana, for instance, is not because she was a friend of Elton John's, but because she was photographed publicly touching residents of an AIDS ward. It was a bad time. We didn't know what was happening. Our friends and loved ones died. Sometimes there was nothing we could do. Sometimes it felt as though we were very isolated from one another. So, not unlike what many of us feel like now. One of the things that saved us was that we connected to one another. We loved one another. We cared for one another. When governments didn't step up to their responsibilities, other people stepped up. It's important that governments step up to their responsibilities, but I'd like to suggest that it's important for us to care for one another as well. Another aspect of the AIDS epidemic, which I see coming towards us now, is that people die. People close to us will die. People we love will die. We may die. We may be afraid of dying. And that is something that is true about life. That's why there's a death card. It happens. Death is our companion throughout our lives. And as we read the cards and see death showing up in its various guises, I want to encourage us to see it, to acknowledge it, to honor its place in our journey through life. We don't need to run towards it. We don't need to abandon efforts to fight it. We don't need to disregard the things we can do to protect one another and to serve one another and to love one another. But I think that it does a disservice to us and to anyone that we might read for and to the cards themselves when we are in denial of the presence of death and the possibility of death. And so I want to encourage anyone watching this to face it. It's hard. It's frightening now. It's sad now. It will continue to be frightening. We will continue to feel grief. And part of what will carry us through is acknowledging and living through and living with what is happening, and acknowledging and reading what is there in the cards. I hope that you are well and taking care of yourselves and taking care of those you love, whether that's by holding them close or by not visiting them. And know that connecting here and Facebook and letters and phone calls and live video calls is important. And if you use tarot as part of your practice, I encourage you to admit the reality, whatever shows up in the cards. Again, I'm Kenneth. This is Common Hawthorne, and thank you for visiting.